up? It's your girl, Sasha Banks, the legit boss. You are watching Going in Raw. You like that?
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Tape live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. And of course, available wherever audio podcasts can be found. We had the Monday Night Raw after Clash of Champions is in the books, and evidently a lot of stuff had to be rewritten moments before it went on air due to a variety of issues. But it kind of felt that way, Larson. I'll be honest with you. It felt a little bit like that. We had 2 open challenges. Right? Yeah, we had Andrade and then Drew McIntyre. So we had 2 open challenges.
We had new theme music tonight.
We had some new theme music tonight for Alice. Yeah, he had sort of a whole new repackaging there.
Yeah.
For Aleister Black.
Like the actual song itself was all right, but what's with the slow down person talking something Aleister Black, and then the song kicks in. Again, the song's fine, but just like the slow down talking to begin, I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I'm happy that they didn't. So Aleister Black debuted with new. He has like last week he was wearing like the long pants.
Yeah, he had the pants.
But tonight felt like the final realization.
He did, and he had more of with the vest on, with the new vest, more of like a biker guy too.
He's like a biker pirate, huh?
Yeah. Well, he lost. He took off the eye bandage before his match.
Yeah. I like that. I think that's cool. He's got sort of a new motivation too. His dad was rude to him. And yeah, I wasn't able to catch like a clean version of the song, obviously, but I haven't seen it on Twitter or anything. But it's got lyrics and it sounds very metal-y. So
yeah,
I think
the song itself is all right, but like his previous theme was so great.
Yeah, but here's the thing, dude. Right by this time, I simply associate that theme music, the candles, the board that comes up with failed call-up. That's what I associate it with. So now he's got a new thing. Maybe they'll give him a win against Kevin Owens, which didn't happen tonight. You think you're going to debut a bunch of new stuff. You're not going to have stupid Drake throw the match out, DQ him. That was a bad finish. Kevin Owens is not. If they want to go, if you're going to rebrand Aleister Black, you can't go half in, half out. You got to give him some wins against some people, you know?
Well, the one thing about when he had the stale or the stalled push, at least he was winning matches. It was against enhancement talent, but he was winning.
Isn't that weird? Like, that was his push, and he was winning. And he actually gets a rebrand. You think you're going to push him. And then, like, I don't think he's ever going to get a clean win against Kevin Owens.
Yeah, probably not.
The bigger, I guess, story tonight was the return of Robert Roode.
Yeah, that was exciting.
Yeah, he looked great. He grew his hair out a little bit. He grew the beard out a little bit. I wish he had gained like a quarantine 20, though. I wish he came back and he just had like a big old gut going.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like, yeah, what do I care anymore? I don't know. I've been in quarantine all this
I will
time.
say this, though. The writing was kind of on the wall that was going to be Bob Roode once Dolph goes up to Scrap Iron and says, I got the guy for your open challenge here.
Yeah.
They're used to be tag team partners.
Yeah.
And he comes out, but it's still a nice surprise to see him. From a character perspective, don't have much to go on based on one match. From an in-ring perspective, I mentioned this before we got started, very reminiscent of NXT Bob Roode, a tactician, a strategist. He goes right after Drew's knee that he injured just last night at Clash of Champions. And it brought a sense of drama, and it gave you a sense, we knew Bob Roode wasn't going to win this match. Gave you a sense that for a second, especially when you hit that glorious DDT, you can suspend your disbelief and think to yourself, maybe Bob Roode can win this. The one thing I wish they had done was actually mention that it was Drew McIntyre that beat Bob Roode for the NXT title. They didn't mention that.
Yeah, I know. I had to go back because I wanted to see if their paths crossed in Impact, but I think by the time Drew Galloway got there, Bobby Roode might have already been in NXT. In any event, the only thing I found was their NXT match, which, was a pretty good one. I forgot who mentioned this, but I noticed on Twitter that there was a rumor that James Storm was in the area. and that he might have been showing up.
Well, he said in an interview recently that he was in line to show up to come over to WWE prior to pandemic.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so yeah, okay. Well, here I got I'll source this one. Pro Wrestling Sheet says this. Oh, I kind of missed this one. Whoa, this one was this from? Oh, this was today. Let's see here. Former Impact wrestling star James Storm says he was set to debut in WWE this year after WrestleMania, but the whole thing came to a halt due to pandemic. Speaking with Ryan Satin in a soon-to-be-released interview, he revealed he was first approached by the company during the weekend of the Royal Rumble in January. Unfortunately, he missed the email while working an NWA show and didn't see it until returning. That sounds like something we would have done. Until returning home. Yeah. Remember he had 2 matches in NXT years ago. Yeah,
Impact gave him more money.
That would be rad. Maybe that's why Roode has grown out his hair. He's getting scruffier to reform Beer Money with with James Storm. That would be cool.
That would be something.
No, I saw that on Twitter. I was like, oh, it'd be cool if it was James Storm if he answered the open challenge. I always like when new guys debut in that. Yeah. That's always a lot of fun. So, anyways, I guess we'll just hop into this. I mean, there wasn't any big, they kept the name. They kept Retribution's sort of thing fresh, I guess, or at least on the,
on your brain, yeah.
On your mind, exactly, with a video package. And then, the logo showed up during the Hurt Business match.
Which, yet amounted to nothing.
But yeah, we've got, I mean, there was obviously at least one tease for Hell in a Cell, which was obviously Randy Orton. Yeah. That's sort of how things kicked off. There was a celebration for the defeat of Randy Orton with Ric Flair. I have written down in Steve notes. I have to send these out here. Ric Flair, Randy Orton, Christian, and HBK all came down, Larson, but that didn't happen. No, it wasn't Randy Orton. It was Big Show.
Yeah. So they all hit the ring. Yeah, you want to send your notes out? I'll go through this. So Shawn Michaels gets on the mic, welcomes us to Raw, and then introduces Drew McIntyre. Drew comes down. He's like, yeah, this is pretty cool. Stay on the ring with legends. And he mentions how each of them were in some way influential in his own career. Really puts over Shawn, especially. He culminates, says, hey, we were all brought together for our disdain of Randy Orton. And then Shawn Michaels like, yeah, thanks for that. We all got together while we were recovering from getting punted, decided to show up and exact some revenge for ourselves. Hope you're not upset about that. But if you are, it's Ric Flair's fault. Drew says, hey, I already beat Orton at SummerSlam. I proved I could beat him. He says, I'm fine with anybody beating him up. And he says something like, even if people want to beat him up while Orton's walking down the street, have at it.
Ooh, I heard that and I was like, people can be crazy, man. Maybe that's not. Although I guess if anybody wants to test their luck against huge Randy Orton, I think people sort of underestimate how big that guy actually is.
He's like 6'4". He's huge.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
So Orton shows up on the Tron. He's like, hey, Drew, over here. He tells Drew, hey, this moment won't last for you. It's going to be over. It's not going to be over until he says so. He says, you thought you went through hell yesterday. You have no idea what hell is, but you will know what hell is. I'm not finished with Drew till I'm WWE champion. And then Drew's like, oh, we asked for another title shot. Randy says, no, I'm going to be given a title shot because I'm Randy Orton. The only reason that I'm there today is that there's a price to let you know there's a price to be paid when you cross the legend killer. And so, and then the camera follows him as he just turns around the corner and walks out the door.
Yeah, so we're led to believe that he just decided he showed up to say what he had to say, didn't even unpack his stuff.
No, why did he even bring a suitcase?
He left.
Well,
he showed up. Maybe he was like, maybe I'll have an enhancement match. They're giving me some microphone time to respond, to say my piece. Great. Don't even have to unpack it. Hey, do you want a match? Nope. I'm good.
Maybe he has his janitor costume in there. So anyway, if you go back to Drew, he says, all this talk of titles gave me an idea. I'm going to put this title on the line tonight. Open challenge. Anybody wants to face him tonight who hasn't already faced him for the WWE Championship. So that means no Big Show, no Dolph, no Bob Lashley, no Seth, no Randy Orton.
Correct. No Brock Lesnar.
Yes, no Brock Lesnar. Although Brock was champion. when they faced
Yeah, I guess
off,
that's
so
true. He never really
technically-
got a rematch, huh?
Yeah, Brock's never faced Drew while Drew was WWE champion.
Good point.
After that, we had a Zelina Vega interview in gorilla position. She says she's going to prove that she is ready for Asuka, but Asuka's not ready for her. Asuka interrupts her, tells Vega, I hope you're ready to lose to her tonight one more time. Rest, Pat Buck, keep them from fighting. That match happens next. Another decent match, a good showing for Zelina. Result was the same, however. They actually referenced the finish to their match at Clash at one point. Zelina got to the ropes. Mm-hmm. She was still working over Asuka's arm that she worked over at Clash of Champions. In the end, though, Zelina goes for a moonsault. Asuka gets her knees up, puts on the Asuka lock. Zelina taps, and the ref has to get in there to break up that hold because Asuka didn't seem like she was terribly willing to do it on her own accord.
You gotta teach people a lesson sometimes. You know, if you're gonna be disrespectful, you know, you gotta put them down like a dog. So after that, we had in the Legends Lounge, Flair, Big Show, Christian, HBK, all playing some cards.
Yep.
After that, we had Andrade. He's in the ring, and Zelina still being helped out by the refs and everything. He says, "Muñeca," which is his I forget what that means in Spanish. Maybe somebody can tell us what that means. It means something, but it's her like nickname. Mm-hmm. And he says, basically, you're nothing without me. Angel got hurt, and because. Wait, what was his reasoning on that one?
I didn't catch the reasoning behind that one, but he just said I was the one holding the team together.
Yeah,
I'm the greatest in WWE. Anybody wants to face me, come on down.
Yeah, basically, I'm tough. He's not. You know, they're all dead weight. I'm, the man. So he says, and this was all in. It was half. Well, not half. It was like 70% English and 30% Spanish. But whenever he talked Spanish, she would reiterate what he said in English, and it was terribly effective. This guy is so charismatic.
I know.
He really doesn't get enough mic time. His promos are so fun. They are so fun.
Yeah, they are.
Keith Lee was the open challenge. He answered the open challenge. He looked like he'd been working out. Or he looks like he's like getting bigger up top and smaller in the waist a little bit. I think that dude's working out a bit more. Anyways.
This was a very short match.
Yeah, it was a short match. Andrade tried to chip away at Keith Lee's size. He got him down at one point with a chop block, and he hit the double knees. And then he sort of brought him up to try to do his finish. I don't know if Keith Lee was just playing possum there, but he just popped him right back up for a spirit bomb, got 3 with that. Yep. And then he sort of they did a great, awesome close-up of him, where he was just like looking at the camera with a smile on his face, and he sort of did this, and I'm like, oh, was that to mean that he was just playing possum the whole time?
Could be playing possum the whole time.
Stuff.
After that, we go backstage, Hurt Business, specifically MVP and Shelton Benjamin, just hit the catering table, sitting down to enjoy their meal. Some other dude rolls up to them, sits next at the table.
Fucking jabroni.
And he starts eating. And if they really make this effective, I couldn't tell if this was the case. He should have been chewing with his mouth open.
And making little like Hilton sounds.
Not like he holds his breath while he's eating and then only inhales between bites. So then Lashley rolls up with a huge plate of food and says, hey, you're in my seat.
So
the dude scoots over right next to MVP. And Lashley goes, you're still in my seat.
Yeah.
And the guy finally realizes, oh, okay, I'm messing up here. He gets up to leave. And then Lashley says, and now you're taking my plate. It was just that dude's plate.
It was it was the dude's plate, and the guy was like, oh, sorry, here you go, and he hands over his plate back, and he leaves. They all start laughing, and Lash is like, hey, you want some more food, guys?
And then Shelton's asking the guy to come back so he can have his beverage.
This was hilarious.
After that, we had a Tozawa getting eaten by a shark recap, and then we go backstage. Truth is playing chess with Little Jimmy. He said he feels like a winner after beating Little Jimmy. Checkmate, he said. Maybe he should challenge Drew for the title. A ninja walks up to him, gives him an envelope. Truth opens, reads the letter inside, says, if you're reading this, I've been eaten by a shark. The battles we had were epic. I'm going to give this to you. And so the ninja opens up a briefcase, and inside is Akira Tozawa's black belt. And while this is all happening, Akira Tozawa sneaks up behind Truth, rolls him up, wins the 24/7 title. And then the ninja pins Tozawa. He's champion now. He's also Drew Gulak. He unmasks himself.
Yes.
And then Truth comes in, decks Drew with the briefcase, pins him. He's champion again.
And then it's announced that there's going to be a triple threat between those three for the 24/7 title later on in the night. We have an update here. Muñeca means doll. Thank you to all of our Spanish-speaking friendos out there. There's a bunch of people here who speak Spanish. That's great. And then, they just said that he said Garza got hurt because he was weak. He was a weak link, and Zelina was a weak link as well. So
Gotcha.
there you go. After that, we had got that part. Rollins. So Buddy Murphy's just chilling there. Rollins comes up to Murphy, and he's like, "Buddy Murphy, what's going on? Hey!" And Murphy's like being conspicuously cold to Rollins, and Rollins is all super excited about the lamest possible thing WWE's doing tonight, which is totally on brand. He's excited about the King's Court with the Mysterio family, and he's like, "Murphy, why are you dressed for a match tonight? We don't have a match." He's like, "You should be dressed up. This is a celebration. It's a party. Go put on that suit I got you. I got it just for you."
Yeah.
And Murphy's like, "All right, fine." So he goes and to get his suit on, and Seth looks down. And he sees that his phone is there. He picks it up and puts it in his pocket. So he's gonna get up in them DMs.
I want to mention this before I forget about it. By the time we get to the bit where Seth's on the Tron talking to Ray. So after he shows off the text. Why was he looking at Buddy's phone like this? Like he didn't know how it worked.
I don't know. I would ask him, but he blocked me on Twitter.
There you go. And if I ask him, he'll block me.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. We need somebody to be following him.
Yeah.
I just start a burner account for that.
Oh, maybe. King's Court with Mysterio family. So Ray's going on. Yeah.
Hey, I'll do this one. I got it in my notes right here. A very truncated version.
Okay.
Ray says Seth blah blah. Dom says blah blah. Lawler, not lawyer. Lawler brings up the Aaliyah stuff. He wants to know how she's feeling. She says, "I don't know why Murphy came to me, but he came to me. I didn't come to him. Whoever hangs out with Seth is a piece of crap." Then Seth shows up on the Tron. He says, "One of you isn't being 100% honest with the family." He says, "The truth is that Aaliyah is sprung on Murphy." And then he showed a screenshot of Murphy's phone with the DM. Murphy, he's trying to be dramatic is what it is, but it's just asinine. He looks like an idiot.
Yeah.
I love that Murphy has Aaliyah's name in his phone as Aaliyah Mysterio, complete with a little picture of her as well, which, as you know, generally speaking, I think you have to program in there. Which picture do I want to use for this person?
Yes.
Unless they're carried over from your previous contacts. So anyway, she says, the DM is basically like, "Hey, I'm sorry about this." She's like, "It's cool." He's like, "If you ever need help or, want to talk, let me know." She's like, "Okay, by the way, happy birthday, lol, love you," or whatever. They're like, "Hey, what the heck is this?" And she's like, "Hey, he's not like Seth.
Yeah.
Trust me on this." And then she leaves, I think, right? Doesn't she leave at that
Mysterio
point?
Family follows.
Yeah,
and that's when Seth is all.
Yeah. He started. That's right. While it shows them at the entrance, you just hear him kind of mumbling. "Oh, why is it doing this right now? What is this camera? It looks like a camera on here."
And then Bud Murphy walks in, gets his phone, and Seth's like, "Bud, you did this to yourself. You think you could hide things from me?" And then he starts laughing, and then Buddy Murphy grabs him by the collar. This is about to do something. Dom comes in, tackles them. They're brawling on the floor. Again, Pat Buck, referees have to break it up.
Yep. Pat Buck was on. He was on double duty tonight.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Then we've got, I have written down here, Lana and Natalya.
They try to make the case that they should be tag champs, that Nia and Shayna should be stripped. They should have the tag titles. This brings out Adam Pearce. He comes to the stage and says, I'm not going to strip Nia and Shayna, but I will give you an opportunity to maybe earn an opportunity if you win this match. And their opponents are Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke in a thrown together tag team. So now we knew that Mandy had been traded to Raw. They made a huge deal about that. but this is the first we're getting to hear about Dana Brooke also being on Raw, just a mere week and a half or so away from what is supposed to be a huge deal, the WWE draft, and yet there's all sorts of roster moves and stuff.
It is going to be very interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see people who are on SmackDown who were treated a certain way, who, had good creative behind them, which I'll be honest, I really enjoy SmackDown right now. I think it's pretty solid.
Same.
To see them go to Raw where things seem to be a bit messier.
Oh, yes.
And people on, like, for example, look, I love the Hurt Business. I think they're great. But Apollo Crews is kind of getting him and Ricochet. But Ricochet has been getting the short end of the stick for a while now. Apollo is supposed to be in, he was the U.S. champion. He just can't catch a break. I know they won their match tonight, but I want to see him go over to SmackDown because for too long it's been the same thing over and over and over and over. I mean, even MVP referenced that tonight. And I don't know if that was a shot at creative. I don't know. But he talked about the same thing over and over again. And what do we get tonight? Another 6-man match with some iteration of, these faces. Apollo, Ricochet, it was Cedric. Well, it was Ali for a second. Now it's Ali
match,
again.
More or less they had when Ali came back. Same outcome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So anyways, Mandy, she's on Raw. Instead of making a huge splash and like the title picture, she's in a thrown together tag team.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
With no explanation. Like, what did SmackDown get in return in this trade? We'll probably never know. Especially with
honestly,
the draft.
that wouldn't
like
even
episodes.
That wouldn't make this any better. She's still thrown together. She's still thrown in a tag team with somebody who she has no past with.
I know. I know. And Mandy Rose, she had an interview later on. Nothing about, it's great to be here. I wish Otis was here. No reference to Otis whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nothing. So why, why are we supposed to care if Otis is heartbroken over on SmackDown if Mandy's like,
You would think there'd be one segment where she would say, "Man, I'm really bummed out, but I'm going to make the most of this." Yeah. Well, did she even talk? She didn't even talk about that in the interview.
No. So anyways, this match happened. Natalya and Lana versus Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. When Dana was in the ring, she was getting isolated by Natalya and Lana. Dana hits Enziguri on Lana, gets tagged to Mandy. Mandy goes on a run, hits a V-trigger on Lana for the win.
White Browning earlier in chat, I think it was White Browning, mentioned, did that knee look flush on Lana or something? Because he said looks like Lana got killed tonight.
I didn't notice.
The PK that Aleister Black did on Kevin Owens.
Yeah,
that looked like, boy, that looked
that
rough.
knee that Bud Murphy did to Dom. That looked flush.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So anyways, after that we had an Aleister, but at some point I didn't write this part down. What part did MVP throw the bottle at the janitor?
I believe that
a little bit
later.
Later,
yes.
Okay, well, stop me when we get to that. At some point, I'll just say it now. At some point, the Hurt Business are walking through the hallway, and MVP throws a bottle on the ground after they pass the janitor and tells him to pick it up.
Yes.
Here we go. Not the knee. The slam Mandy gave her looked rough. Okay. All right.
Oh, yeah. That I recall. It looked like Lana almost landed right on her face.
Okay. Oof. Okay.
Aleister promo. So he talks about Kevin Owens claiming to be a good man, but he says, but good men don't let bad things happen. So essentially, Owens, why'd you let Bud Murphy take my eye? Says Kevin Owens thrives in a situation where he can manipulate the viewers. It took just one line from him to make them forget that he turns his back on people. And that's when Aleister mentions that his own father, was a cruel man, and asked Kevin if he had told his son about his own betrayals. And then it led to Aleister saying, "I don't forgive and I don't forget."
So Aleister had a terrible dad. He sees Kevin Owens now as, a lying dad, But I wonder if when he sees Kevin Owens being a good dad, could this potentially lead to Aleister Black wanting Kevin Owens to adopt him?
I mean, it'd be better. That'd be better than any direction they're probably going to take this. Kevin Owens, will you be my dad?
Can I call you Dad? Pater. Can I call you Pater?
Can we go get ice cream?
Dad, please. My father never let me eat ice cream. I just want some of that sweet Napoleon ice cream. It's Napoleon. Shit, what is it called?
Neapolitan.
It's Neapolitan.
We got a shot of the legends backstage talking about if any of them could accept Drew's challenge. Big Show said he could, and Christian's like, no, you already kicked your face off. Street Profits walk in, everybody's happy.
Everybody's happy. I'd be happy if they showed up, man. They're cool.
Yeah, they are.
Afterwards, then we had Aleister Black with his new music, kind of a new logo, a new attitude. He's got a bit more urgency in his entrance as well. Sort of storms to the ring. I mean, it's a tad generic. He just sort of gets up on the thing and does this, doesn't do the flip and sit down. I don't know. I'll see where they go with it. So anyways, this match, man, God, can they just give this guy a win, please?
The thing is, it was a good match.
Yeah, I know. It was a solid match. It was a solid match. So let's see here.
God awful finish.
Owens goes up for a moonsault. He eats some knees of Aleister's.
Yeah.
Then Aleister Black and Drake, the ref, they get into it. And then Aleister Black goes back to Kevin Owens, starts like punching him and stuff. And as he rears back for a punch, he accidentally clocks Drake.
He like his elbow on his not follow through, but the opposite of that. Like just barely like gets Drake in the gut. And Drake's like, oh, nope, you touched me. Ring the bell, disqualification. Lame.
Yeah.
Lame.
Yeah, dude. Pretty lame.
Lame. So Aleister's giving Drake the business, and then Owens hits him with a stunner.
Yeah.
After that, we get Hurt Business backstage. They're walking towards their locker room. Mustafa Ali is exiting their locker room. He apologizes, says he must have gotten lost. And MVP says, yeah, you must have lost your mind. Apollo Crews and Ricochet come into frame, even the numbers, and then a match is made for later. And then we get a 24/7 title match.
This is actually kind of fun stuff. This is good comedy stuff here, because they're like Gulak and Tozawa are trying to like double team Truth, but they also both want the title. So at one point they both have the same submission lock on Truth. They eventually Gulak eventually gets tired of that, starts like trying to take out Tozawa. At one point, he straight up throws Tozawa out. This is the finish. He puts Truth in the Gulak. Akira comes to. He sentons the shit out of Drew Gulak. That was rough. So that takes Gulak out. Then Truth slams Tozawa and gives Gulak an AA to get the win.
Yeah, onto Tozawa, and he pins both of them.
What's that?
He said he did the AA on Drew onto Tozawa, and then pinned both of them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So after that, we had the Mandy and Dana interview. Mandy says, I've had my ups and downs, but Dana has always been there. She's an incredible athlete, and Dana says Mandy is an inspiration. She gets up whenever she gets knocked down, and then Mandy says, there's a title match at some point, Riot Squad, between and Nia and Shayna. Whoever wins that, we're coming after those titles.
And then they I don't know, they heard a fart noise or something, because then they both look awkwardly over next to them, and the camera pans over, and there's Dom doing his stretches, ready to go.
He did a squat, and happened to me before, so. There happened to you when you're stretching and doing a squat?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, usually it's like, I don't with a squat, not really. Like any number of other, like I'll just be on the treadmill and I'll just be in my own smoke.
See, here's the thing. Like if I'm going down on the squat, it's everything's so, like focused and rigid.
Yeah.
It's coming up when you push up with those quadricep muscles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes
when I'm doing like
out.
trying to do some ab stuff on the ball,
yeah,
that's when it usually I'm all.
Oh yeah, you get the pressure going in there when you're bending the ab muscles.
I'm like the what's that giant balloon that came down, the Heisen something or another?
Hindenburg.
The Hindenburg, yeah, that guy. Woo. Oh, the humanity. Anyways, after that we had Dom versus Murphy. And this was just more stuff to get Aaliyah involved with the drama. So Dom hits one of those DDTs on Murphy. Then he goes out, gets a kendo stick. Aaliyah comes down. She's like, oh, don't do this, Dom. And then Murphy rolls him up, gets 3. Then Dom and Aaliyah start arguing.
And then Dom wails away on Murphy with the kendo.
Well, she slaps him and walks away first.
Yeah.
And then he starts wailing away. I have it written down here. I'm officially over this.
Yeah. Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
I am too.
Yo Long Heavy says Steve and Larson talking about their oncoming incontinence. Yeah, that's going to happen. If we don't, if we just keep doing this for another 10 years, 10, 15, 20 years.
We're going to be doing it in diapers.
How many times you shit yourself today?
Yeah, I know. I know.
I can't remember. My memory is so bad. Anyways. So let's see here. Oh, man. Maggie says, I definitely had a guy at the squat rack next to me fart. And oh, my God, it was a protein fart. Ugh.
Oh, man. Ugh. Yuck.
Oh, Lordy B. Oh, yeah, my Steve notes are going to be a mess by the time we're, like, super old. Even more of a mess there now. Anyways, after that, oh, there we go. Oh, I do have it written down. Hurt Business MVP throws a bottle on the ground near a janitor. I think I missed when Hurt Business gave Mustafa Ali the business.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I missed that. Anyways, after that, Dolph is saying something to Scrap Iron about, hey, I got a guy. And then, so Hurt Business is out there. MVP's just going on. Even MVP's promo was, like, super long.
I know.
Like, he comes out and he's like, there's something wrong with Apollo because he keeps doing the same shit over and over again. They claim that Cedric Alexander got sent to Hurt Business boot camp, which is quite clearly a euphemism for quarantine.
Yeah.
So after that, we had Hurt Business versus Ricochet, Warp Speed, Apollo Crews, and Lightspeed.
Yes, correct. And Lightspeed picked up the win. It was pretty much the same finish as what he pinned MVP last time, I believe. Tornado DDT 450. Fun match. Cruz and Ricochet and Ali came out like they were trying to get the upper hand immediately. Instead, Hurt Business started tossing them all around ringside. The light started to flicker. Retribution's logos popped up everywhere. Rather than have Retribution show up, because, according to Ryan Satin, they're all having to quarantine. Mm-hmm. Talked about that news brief today. Mm-hmm. Go to commercial, come back. It was like that never happened.
Nothing has happened.
Never happened.
Commentary mentioned it, but they're just wrestling. They're just in there wrestling. Everything's fine.
Yep.
So yeah, like you said, that finish, it was Ali getting the 450 for the win. After that, didn't they run like the Retribution video package after that though?
That was a little bit later on.
That was a little bit later.
The Legends backstage. Flair wins that last hand with the Royal Flush. Does the Fargo Strut. Then we get the Bianca Belair video package where she's beating everybody on the racetrack.
This was great. I will actually, I wasn't mad. I wasn't mad when they changed Keith Lee's music. Aleister Black's new music, I kind of welcome it, right? It's a change of pace. They better not fuck with Bianca Belair's theme music.
That's true.
It is so good.
And it's
you
so
could use it for anything.
her. Perfect for her.
It's perfect. It's so good. I loved this skit, man. I'm telling you, these Mr. Perfect skits are going to get like more and more goofy because this was great. So she's at the track. She's racing 3 other people. Yeah, I think it starts out with 3 other people. Mm-hmm. She beats them all by like a ton, right?
Yeah.
One guy, she's like, come on, that was fun. Let's do it again. Let's run it back. One guy just walks off. He just, like, when they're done racing, he just, like, starts walking.
Okay, so White Brownie says Pineapple Pete losing to Bianca. That was him. I thought it was.
Okay, all right. I knew that he was in Raw Underground a couple weeks ago. So then they go back, and it's her and 2 other people. So they shoot the gun, and the other 2 people go, and she just waits. She has a big smile on her face. So then she waits a good like 5 seconds or so and then takes off, beats him by a mile. Mm-hmm. The girl that was running with them, she leaves. So it's just down to her and this other dude. So she's like, come on, let's run it back. She sets up hurdles and he's got a clear lane, she still wins. And she's like, hey, good job. And he just walks off, sells her.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, okay. Great stuff.
She's fantastic.
She is fantastic.
After that, we had the Retribution video package, and then our main event. Drew McIntyre versus the returning Bob Roode. Again, like I mentioned in the open the show, tactician Bob Roode made a return here. Knowing Drew hurt his knee at Clash of Champions, went right after it. That was the focal point of his attack during this match. And he did a good enough job working that knee that when he hit that glorious DDT, I knew Drew was going to kick out. But man, 2% in my mind. What if he doesn't?
Yeah, I know. I was going through that scenario in my head too. Like, holy crap, what if they actually do something here? And then, of course, he kicks out. I'm like, oh, that's right. That'll never happen.
No, but it was good to see Bob Roode return in the main event, because that's where he should be. It's good to see him put forth a really good match. And it's good to see him wrestle like he did in NXT, which got him over so well. Now we just need to do the same thing from the character perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know? Like,
I agree, man. I agree.
Get rid of the robes, except when you have a match. Wear the suits backstage. You know? It was all robes. Every time he was backstage, he had his darn robe on. He even didn't have a match during the night, you know? It was like, all right, Bob Roode, what's your character? But he probably went on and on for about stuff in NXT. And Vince's like, nah, you're glorious. You got to wear the robes and play that song.
Spend so much money on the robes. Wear them backstage. Yeah. Jesus fucking A, dude.
Because that was his character. Dude with shiny robes and catchy theme music. That was his character for the longest time. So hopefully that changes. Though, really good match. Great to see Bob Roode back.
This is a good point. Zondo says, of all the people to not get new, Vince loves that song. Loves it.
Oh, yeah.
It's
one of his favorite themes ever.
Man, I was hoping when Dolph came out to introduce him, I was like, okay, it's probably going to be Roode. Give him something new. I don't know, man. Just bring James Storm in. Have him be, what's another name for beer money? Suds Buds.
There you go. Suds Buds. That's good. That's good.
The Suds Buds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's see the Suds Buds.
Brew Crew.
The Brew Crew. Yeah, the Brew Crew, yeah. There you go. That's good. Anyways.
Instead of the APA, they're the IPA.
Okay, that's good. That's good. The IPA. That's really good, actually. IPA LLC. Oh, that's good. Anyways. So
it was a good match. Drew won with the Claymore, but fantastic match. It's good to see Bob Roode back.
Yeah, it was. It totally was. Hopefully it's a clean slate and he won't be hanging out with Dolph too much. So after that, we get a shot of the mysterious janitor, and he's skulking about, walking through the halls, and he comes across the Legends Lounge. So at that point, okay, it's Randy Orton. So he takes off his mask and he takes off the hood, and then he puts on some futuristic looking space goggles, and he's like, or he puts them up here.
I will say this, in terms of form factor, that was the smallest pair of night goggles I've ever seen.
I didn't know they made them so small.
Maybe they didn't. Maybe they're just like really nice swim goggles or something. I don't know.
But Samoa Joe yelled out night vision goggles.
Well, as a story beat he had to hit. Of course he's going to say that.
Wow, look at those super compact. Well, you got to figure these days. It's not like, like on Step Brothers where they were wearing on night goggles.
All right, Jorge D says they're welder goggles, he believes.
Ah, are those the same? Do they have night vision functionality?
No, if anything, they're supposed to be the opposite because your welding is really bright because you got all the sparks and stuff flying at you.
Yeah. Hip Hop Hippo says, y'all just mad you can't afford cost-effective night vision goggles. Good point. It'd be great if it just uses iPhone, because iPhone has night vision.
Yeah.
Doing this.
Exactly.
Anyways,
yeah, he comes in there with a chair, and it sounds like he turns the lights on, has his goggles down. It sounds like he's hitting the chair against like something on the ground repeatedly.
Honestly, dude, it just sounds like he's banging his arm against the wall. He's just doing, and you're not hearing like, the awkward sound that it would make if a chair. So this is where it gets even stupider, though. So He turns the light back on after a good, 30 seconds or 20 seconds of this shit, right?
Yeah.
And you see down on the ground the cameraman who's been standing there the whole time, not getting hit. You see Show, Christian, HBK, Flair all down on the ground. They're all just, writhing in pain, right? So Orton then leaves. He puts on, and the cameraman has him, right? He puts on his mask and his hood. He goes over back to he hunches over. He goes back to his garbage can, his little, what I don't know what we're called, janitor's called.
His little cart, yeah.
The cart, yeah. And refs and producers come running to the Legends Lounge. I can't tell you how infinitely fucking stupid this is. He points to the Legends Lounge, right? How would they have known that this shit just happened?
Well, they're watching the truck with the camera feed.
Okay, all right.
So they should know it's Randy Orton that did it. Yeah, they should know Randy Orton is the janitor. I know.
He's fucking standing right there.
I know.
He's right there. You've seen this the entire goddamn time.
Yep.
This was the stupidest shit.
It was pretty stupid.
I can suspend my disbelief to a massive degree. A massive degree. This was so stupid.
It was really stupid.
Good Lord. Anyways, I don't know, man. It was just it to me it illustrates. It's like, I know that I mentioned this off camera in the pre-show. I get that Raw and SmackDown, they have there is a writing structure in place. They have writers who bring their ideas up. They forward their scripts up. It hits Bruce or whoever, gets to Vince, right? And then Vince will rip it up or whatever. But on SmackDown, seemingly, SmackDown's actually a really well-written show these days.
Yeah.
But it's like, does nobody stop and say, well, if they know there was an attack, then they saw who did it. And he's standing right there.
I know.
Nobody says that. Nobody says, hey, our maybe we shouldn't insult our audience's intelligence to this degree.
They don't think that. If they did, they wouldn't do half the shit they do, especially on Raw.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to answer some questions?
Yeah.
All right. Shane's birthday tweet: in 20 years, Dom and Seth will still be feuding.
Seems like it, doesn't it? Totally seems like it.
Yes. Julio Contreras says, so now do you get the telenovela reference from Being the Elite? That was the Dasha Ortiz segment.
Yeah. No, I saw a little bit of what Jorge was saying earlier about that. And if it was mi madre, if it was my mom, she would totally get it. I am not as well versed in telenovelas. I was more a fan when we lived in LA. I would watch the Spanish channel for Buscando Amor, which was their blind date show, where by the end, like an American blind date show, it would be like, oh, a nice kiss. How do you think about this guy? Well, at the end of Buscando Amor, 9 times out of 10, they'd fuck. And they would basically show I didn't even know this, but apparently in the Valley, there's all sorts of rentage, hot tub rental places where you can go and you can rent time in a hot tub, which honestly sounds like the most fucking disgusting thing I've heard of in my life. But half the episodes would show up what it would end up being at the hot tub place, and they would just be banging in there, and they would show it on TV. Clearly, it's okay, well, you can't see literally what's happening, but
there's obvious copulation going on there.
They are clearly, there's a baby making right now.
Yeah.
And then after that, they'd ask him, oh, what do you think of him? And the girl would be like, hey, he was okay. I'm like, you just fucked him, so.
Mike Lucas, wow, I didn't make the Bianca comparison to Mr. Perfect, but that's a great connection.
Those Mr. Perfect ones are so great. Those were so great.
I know. Dirty Rich, an episode of Raw with no retribution or Raw Underground. I enjoyed it. Yes. No Raw Underground tonight.
I did not miss Raw Underground.
Nope.
At all. I did kind of miss Shane and Jordan and their little bromance, you know, like he comes up to Jordan all coked out, and Jordan's like, oh man, the boss is totally coked out right now. He's like, hey, man, we got some great matches tonight. We're going to have our True Huss again, and he's going to fight, I don't know, what's that guy's name? Rick Moss. Yeah, it's going to be great. He's like, boss, that happens every week.
Yeah, but it's good, isn't it? It doesn't happen every week. We don't remember it. Gareth, will Hurt Business find themselves needing to team up with Ali, Apollo, and Ricochet in order to fight off Retribution? It's entirely possible.
Oh, man, Jose Luis and Censura, that was my favorite, too. It was like fucking hardcore Maury Povich. Like,
really?
They were I knew a person who was on that got into a fight. They just had people from the audience come run in and start fighting people.
That's crazy.
Oh, man, it was
Crazy.
Jose Luis and Censura. It means uncensored. Anyways, let's see here. Brandon says, in kayfabe, how did Raw end up with Retribution over SmackDown?
I guess the Raw brand offered them up contracts before SmackDown did.
Yeah, or T-Bar. They gave T-Bar the choice.
Yeah.
My hair dye is red. I want to be on my contacts. I only bought one pair of the red contacts. They're red. I'm Raw.
I'm Team Raw.
I'm Team Raw. Let's see here. Nemo, do you think Zayn, O'Reilly, and Reigns are all given their current spots so WWE can make the statement they didn't punish those who took off for COVID? I don't think that's why. However, it is very heartening to see that is the case. And that was actually one thing that I thought about with Sami Zayn was it'd be when I was doing the prediction stuff, I was like, it'd be really kind of cool, like if I was wrong about this and they give the title to Sami Zayn, even though he was out for COVID. That's really cool stuff.
Yeah. Ryan, Rubik's Cube, how long do you think Bianca's Mrs. Perfect skits will go on for? When will she start wrestling regularly on TV? Hopefully very soon.
It'd be so rad if they actually called her Mrs. Perfect.
Oh, I know.
She has her own thing, and I totally get that. But sometimes it's kind of cool to have, some element of the past be handed down, to somebody in the now. And I think that these videos, these vignettes are such a great throwback. It'd be kind of neat.
Jorge D, should Shane lead a faction of Raw Underground fighters when it's over? Jorge says, I mainly want to see Shane with his best bud, tall bodyguard.
Jordan. His name is Jordan. Yeah, I would be totally down for that. I think that, if it gives Riddick Moss, Arturo Ruas, and Dabba-Kato like a faction, and even like, Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir maybe. Yeah, why not? I think that'd be cool. We need more factions.
Agreed. Night by night, which Raw superstars would you most like to see in a high-stakes game of High-Lie? I don't know much about High-Lie apart from that one shot of it being played in the opening credits to Miami Vice.
Which one's High-Lie?
This one you got like the scoop-looking thing on your hand. It's kind of like what the game in the first Tron is based off of.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know much about that.
I don't either.
Who said this? Somebody said, wouldn't it be cool if they split up Retribution in the draft? That'd be hilarious.
T-Bar's only staying on Raw.
Let's see here. Dan Barber, with the draft coming up, who are some SmackDown or NXT people you want to see on Raw? I know who I want to see on SmackDown. I want to see Apollo Crews on SmackDown. I would love to see Ricochet on SmackDown.
Just send Otis to Raw.
Yeah, okay. So, do you send Baron to Raw?
Sure.
Like, I'm wondering if Raw just becomes my my answer to this is just, okay, well, it'd be my personal dumping ground.
Yeah, totally.
Like, who am I not? Like, send Matt Riddle over to Raw. He doesn't really interest me anymore. Send Baron over there.
Otis.
Otis and Tucky can go to Raw. Who else on SmackDown? SmackDown's got a pretty decent roster. I really actually kind of like SmackDown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
totally.
Billy Kay. There you go. Billy Kay and Aleister Black to SmackDown.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And if that doesn't work for Aleister Black, send him to AEW.
There you go.
Or New Japan Professional Wrestling.
Yeah, New Japan would be great. Dang MQ, I think SmackDown has better writing because some of the talent might have input on their storylines, such as Roman, The Fiend, Bayley, New Day, and AJ. And
I wonder
Daniel
how much
Bryan apparently is on the creative team there too.
So I was going to say, I wonder how much that might make a difference. Again, these are all good questions that I wish WWE would give us answers to.
I know.
Yeah, Ricochet, like a complete rebrand. Hey, I like his theme music, but give him new theme music. As long as he gets to choose, and it's something cool.
Well, the thing about Ricochet's theme, his theme's fine. It was the entrance, the lasers and all that. That's what was really cool.
Yeah, that's true.
And we don't really see that anymore anyway.
I love his theme music. I just think, hey, you know what? Just a clean slate. Just start over.
Yoshibol, which, if any, of the eternal storylines of WWE right now do you want to see continue? If they're going on SmackDown, generally speaking, I'm cool with it.
SmackDown, I'm fine with. Which storylines on Raw do you want to see continued?
Just in WWE.
Oh, in WWE in general? Okay, well, let's narrow that down. We do think that there's a couple of never-ending stories on Raw. Are there any stories on Raw you want to see continue? Like, I'll be honest with you. I don't like this Aleister Black, Kevin Owens thing has been going on too long already. Mm-hmm. And it's not really interesting.
No.
Seth Mysterio has to stop at some point.
Way too long.
Randy Drew has got to stop at some point.
It's got to stop at Hell in a Cell.
Asuka literally doesn't have a story.
Street Profits have no story.
Street Profits don't have a story. Oh, Bianca Belair's Mr. Perfect vignettes. I can watch those forever. Forever and ever.
There you go.
Yeah.
Zondo says, Cruiserweight division started as a Raw sub-show. Now it's on NXT, and it's way better. Should they ship Raw Underground to NXT as well?
No.
There's real room for it.
I did not miss Raw Underground.
Not at all.
I did not.
Yame World, thanks for the bit, says, what do you think about WWE rehiring Curtis Axel and team him up with Bianca to form the perfect duo? Could be an interesting team.
Nope. Curtis Axel's been so deeply buried.
Yeah.
It's just so deeply buried. Well, now he doesn't work for the company. Let's see here. The Singularity X. I'm off to work, so I'll be checking y'all out in the morning. But the question I have is, do you think Keith Lee versus Bobby Lashley would be an amazing match?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Bobby Lashley is a super underrated wrestler.
Heck yeah, man.
That guy sells like crazy. Like some of those spots tonight, the one where I think it was Ricochet took out Shelton, I think, and maybe it was Apollo took out Lashley on the apron on the outside.
Off the apron, yeah.
That was good stuff. And
those guys on the bump, man.
He really is. Yeah.
So Assault just asked, I know Retribution is supposed to be a Mad Max type thing, but would it be better if they were the bad guys from The Crow, and who can be the Crow character? No, they should be like the Lost Boys from the Lost Boys.
Who, Retribution?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. Who gets to play Kiefer Sutherland?
Well, it's Dijak, of course.
That's right. Yeah, I get to be Kiefer.
I'm the leader. White Brownie, who's next for Asuka? Also, will she be champion come Survivor Series? Yes. She'll probably finally get that win over, if they do champion versus champion, she'll probably get that win over Bayley finally at Survivor Series.
Let's see here. De La Cruz. Who had a worse debut name? The Viking Experience or the member names of Retribution? I'll be honest. Given that Dijak is really turning T-Bar into something, I'm going to say the Viking Experience. It sounds like a Disney ride.
Yeah. It's Viking Experience. I think even before Dijak started turning around the perception of T-Bar with his top-notch Twitter game. Mm-hmm. This Viking Experience, considering they were War Machine. That's an incredible name. War Raiders still really good.
And I totally understand. Heel Long Heavy here says, so apparently they have said this. I don't care. I understand Hanson Rowe, they don't like the name War Machine, and I understand there's that fighter that, who was like got arrested for beating up which is a terrible, and his name was War Machine. I get that. If that connotation didn't exist, War Machine's a really cool name. It's a really cool name. So. I mean, even what was it in War Raiders? Was in
NXT. That's not bad.
NXT. Yeah.
Isolde says Mandy and Dana are both body girls. Should we get some backstage segments of them lifting?
Sure. It'll give them some. I mean, if it's it'll give them some. Don't encroach on the Bianca territory.
I saw. I've only seen half of this. So O-Dog says Mace was saying his name is Mason, and that's his nickname. T-Bar replied, said his real name is Terry Barlea. Barlea.
I did not see that. That's amazing. Dude, they were tweeting at Matthew.
I know.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
he said his real name is Terry Barlea.
Dijak's been tweeting at all sorts of wrestling reporters and personalities, man.
That is great. That is hilarious.
That's so funny. That's incredible.
Let's see. I'll see if there's a couple more here. Tyler Quint says, I missed Raw the last couple of weeks. Is Raw Underground done, or do they just forget about it tonight? So according to Fightful, via Fightful Select, it was not deemed important enough given so they filmed those kind of in advance, and given how many changes they needed to make, Raw Underground just isn't important enough for them to have had to go through the extra effort for it.
Yeah, they shoot at a different place, I think, or maybe they shoot at the Amway Center. I don't remember. But yeah, it's all pre-filmed stuff, and if the show wasn't ready till right before airtime.
Eddie Brock's Venom says, I was playing 2K and I saw Lars Sullivan. Made me think, oh, that's right, he's still under WWE contract. What's the latest on him? We don't know. So I know he had an injury that was going to take a long time to heal up from. Plus, apparently, he was dealing with some anxiety issues. So I don't know. I do not know. But
yeah, we have not heard a thing.
Yeah. Let's see here. Rich asks, champs get paid more in kayfabe for holding a title. What do you think the pay is for the 24/7 title?
$247.
That's good. It's good. Let's see here. All right. That's good. That's good. Anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow. On the Twitch for Impact Wrestling, but no more RVD and Katie Forbes. Very sad about that. Anyways, thanks for you tuning in, people. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. Enjoy tons of bonus videos, including patron-only live shows, gameplay, and vintage 10 for the wins, access to podcast question threads, the Friendo Care Package, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today at patreon.com/Steve and Larson.